Hi everyone, this is Cajun DIY Diva, and today we are going to paint a pelican on a piece of reclaimed wood. This is a piece of an old fence board that someone, put out on the curb. They tore down a fence, and see, it just has a beauty about it. It's got nail holes and it's got lines in it, but I think it's beautiful in its own way. Other people might think it's trash, but I don't. So we are going to paint a pelican on this and watch this board come to life. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it out in chalk. So let's see. Alright, I want to start with his head, and do his long beak, and then I'm going to bring his neck around and make his body. I'm going to bring his beak over a little bit. Make sure I have enough room to give him enough space. Well, there's his beak coming to life right there. And here's his body. And he's got some little feet. Okay, so that is, let's see, I'll draw his eye too. So there he is, that's a rough sketch. So now I'm not using any fancy brushes or anything like that. I'm just using some inexpensive brushes. I'm not going to prime him, I'm not doing any of that. We're just going to paint him and watch him come to life. So I'm starting out with some titanium white. And I'm going to paint his head and neck with this titanium white. Well, I'm going to paint his eye too. I know I just drew that, but I have the right to change my mind if I want to. I see there's little divots in the board that the paint is not totally seeping into. I like that. I want some of that to show. I'm going to bring the paint all the way down to the body. And I'm just going to kind of cover him up in paint. And then we'll add some more elements to him. And I'm brushing the white paint kind of in the direction that his feathers would go. So kind of down right here, and kind of over to the side on this direction. Come back up and give him a little more white up here. Okay, so that's good. See, it doesn't take a whole lot. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, this is yellow ochre. I'm going to add a little yellow to my palette. I have a better palette than this. I'm just using a paper plate right now because I can't find my good palette. That's artist brain for you. Okay, put the cap back on. Now, I put a little yellow ochre on my palette, and I'm going to take a little white and blend it with that yellow ochre to lighten it up a little bit. I don't want a big old blob of yellow. I want to add it gradually. So I'm going to come over here and add this yellow right here in his forehead, right here in this area. And I want it darker than that. It's hard to tell until you actually put it on how dark you want it. Okay. So that's about it. That's about all the yellow I want right there. Okay, so now I'm going to start on his beak. So I'm going to start out with the yellow ochre, and I'm not going to dilute it. Now, I don't know what kind of pelican this is. I'm, you know, kind of taking a little artistic license with this breed of pelican. I don't know if this pelican really has a yellow or an orange beak, but I'm just going to go with it because I am creating him. You know, he's not necessarily your typical everyday pelican. He's pretty special. Okay, now I'm adding a little chrome orange to my palette, and I'm going to go over his beak with this chrome orange. And I'm just kind of layering it on top, but you know, I'm not pressing, I'm kind of just kind of dabbing it on there so that it just sits right on top of that yellow. I'm not blending it a whole lot, I'm kind of just dabbing it on there. Okay, so did that. Now I'm going to make his legs in the same orange and kind of make his little feet. And I'm going to widen out his legs there a little bit. Someone told me that they don't have orange legs, but you know what? This is my artistic impression of him, so he can have whatever he wants. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little burnt sienna to my palette. It's kind of a rusty color. And I'm going to add a little bit to the white feathers because I think he might be, you know, a little bit more colorful than just a plain white pelican. So I'm adding the burnt sienna, but then I'm also going back into the white. I don't want this burnt sienna to be too bright, but I definitely want you to see it. And see that hole right there? That hole does not bother me. I like it. It's just adding character to him. Okay, so I'm going to wipe my brush off, but I'm not washing it, and I'm just going to kind of add a little shadow down here on the bottom of him too. Now, I think I'm going to add a little bit of Payne's Gray to my palette. Payne's Gray, I'll show you what it looks like. It's a gray, it's almost, it's a gray, it's kind of a bluish color. It's like a bluish gray. You see that? It almost looks like navy blue. It's really, really dark. This is something, sometimes in my classes I'll use black, but this is something you can use instead of black. And if you mix it with white, you get this nice light blue color. So I'm going to pull over some white and pull over some Payne's gray. It's giving me kind of a gray color, which is what I want. And I'm just going to add a little bit into the feathers here and there. And I'm going to add a little bit maybe to his neck. So that's about all I want to add to his neck. And I'm going to go over that with some white and make it blend in. It's just giving a very faint shadow to his neck. Okay. Now I'm going to take my smaller brush and I'm going to put some of the Payne's gray into his legs. Just kind of outline them sort of on one side, giving it like a little back shadow. And that's all I'm going to do there. Okay, now I'm going to start to work on his eyes and defining around his beak. So I'm going to use the Payne's gray and just kind of go around his beak. Okay, now I'm going to give him another little shadow in his beak. Now on the left side of his beak, I'm going to add a highlight, a white. And I want to blend that, the edges of it, into the orange a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now I want to outline his eye. Come on, Mr. Pelican, you're coming to life now. And I'm just going to make his eye kind of go into that, just the shadow around his eye kind of blend in with the shadow around the beak. Okay, so now for his eye, I'm going to use a little shot of turquoise because he's just a bright-eyed pelican. So look at that. He's got that bright little shot of turquoise there. Put this cap back on. Okay. Now he's looking like he needs a little life around his head. And I'm thinking he needs some flyaway feathers. So I'm going to come around like this and just add. My dog's trying to open my door and come in with us. I don't know if you can hear that doorway opening back there. So just these little flyaways, see? Are you wondering who I'm talking to? You don't see anyone, do you? And I'm going to go and emphasize this side of his forehead, because I think it'll give him like a little bit of attitude if I do that. I'm going to add back some more of the yellow after I do that. And I think I'm going to give him a little yellow in his wings. Okay, now I'm going to add a little yellow to his legs. So I really want his feet to really pop. And I'll put a little white in there too. And now I'm just going to go around and add some little finishing touches. I still had the yellow on my brush, and I kind of like this little effect coming around the front of his body. Just adding that yellow little bit of sunshine his feathers are catching. And maybe they need a little bit kind of on the back of his head here. I want to emphasize some more his darkness around the eye. This is really where his attitude comes in. And I'm going to bring a little bit of an outline with that Payne's gray around his head and around his body. I'm not doing a perfect outline, I'm just giving it here and there. I don't do perfect. And I think he maybe needs a little something here. His neck's looking a little fat. Okay, and I think he definitely needs a pupil in the center of his eye. And he definitely needs a little white shimmer in his eye. And he's about done. So there you have it, a pelican. This is CajunDIYDiva. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please give a thumbs up, and please share it with your friends. Thank you.